Hello everyone, my name's Jodie Hill and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to talk to you today about overwhelm. Why? Well, we've been through a pretty rubbish couple of months, nearly a year and a half now, of so much uncertainty, so much change, and such intense feelings of social isolation and anxiety. And quite frankly, I know I felt really overwhelmed. I know a lot of people that I've spoken to also feel that way. And with the restrictions about to lift, with lots more changes coming, with vaccinations and travel restrictions and all sorts of other things, there's just so much information to take in. So how do we deal with it? Well, everybody's different. But I'm just going to share with you a couple of tips that have helped me over the past few months and weeks, I suppose. So tip number one for dealing with overwhelm. For me, it's about writing it all out. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, I make a list, I journal, I get my feelings out, I get my tasks out of my head, I get all the jobs that I need to do out of my head, and then I start to prioritise things. And one of the things that I'll prioritise is me, is self-care, is making sure that I'm not just doing task after task after task. It's so easy to be a busy fool. And often that just creates more and more overwhelm. So prioritise the urgent tasks that need doing today. Get those off the list, get them done, don't procrastinate, crack on with them, then move on to other tasks. And also look at what you can delegate. Whether you're a manager or not, there's always things that you can delegate, whether it's in your household, whether it's in your team, whether it's at work. There are things that you can possibly delegate to other people. You don't have to do everything yourself. And then the other thing about managing your tasks is just getting it out of your head, putting it onto paper. I use an app called Asana. Really easy to use, it's free. I also have to-do lists that are set by the hour, and I also have a pad that I have on my desk. So I scribble stuff down all the time, and that really helps me to reduce those feelings of overwhelm. I get so many intrusive thoughts. I have anxiety and ADHD, so a combination of those two conditions can actually be really overwhelming on its own without a pandemic. So chuck a pandemic in and we've got a bit of a melting pot. So yeah, I think for me, those things have really, really helped me to just focus and go, do you know what? These are the things I've got to get done today. And as long as I get those three things done, I'm good. The other thing is breathe. We got to breathe. It's so simple, but we don't breathe. Look how fast I talk. I talk really fast. That's because of my ADHD. But if we slow down, I know, right? Slow down and breathe. It makes such a difference. And I've really practiced this so much over the last probably 2 years, more so the last 6 to 8 months, where I'm taking time out, I'm breathing, I'm doing that through yoga, meditation, in the shower, when I'm sat at my desk. I have a thing on my Apple Watch that pops up and says breathe for 3 minutes. So I do it. And the way that it completely changes you, your whole physiology changes, your mindset changes. Everything seems a lot less panicky and overwhelmed when you just breathe. I mean, it seems so simple. We do it all the time, but we don't do it consciously. So consciously breathe slowly and deeply. And there's lots of different breathing techniques that you can do using various apps, like I say, Apple Watches, or just literally closing your eyes, in for 5, out for 5, or however many you want to do it for. And I find that really can just reset if I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed. The other thing that really helps with overwhelm is just be organised. Don't cram too much into your day. If you've got back-to-back meetings, why? And if you have got back-to-back meetings, make sure those meetings are back-to-back for an hour, but the actual meeting is only 30 to 40 minutes, so that you always have a break to write your notes up from the last meeting and then prep for the next meeting. Otherwise, you're taking all the baggage in from the last meeting, and by the time you get to the end, you're going to be exhausted, overwhelmed, and forgotten what the first meeting was about. So don't do that. Make time, dedicated time for you throughout the day, and just make sure that you communicate effectively. If you are feeling overwhelmed and all of those things are not helping, that you then speak to your friends, your family, your boss, your colleagues, speak to people, because often a problem shared is a problem halved. And there are so many anxieties as we start to lift face masks off and hug more and see people without restrictions. People will be feeling overwhelmed at the prospect of being in a really busy place. So, respect where we all are in each other's journeys. Respect the fact that people will react differently at different stages, and just communicate properly and let's support each other, because let's be honest, it's been a pretty crap couple of months, more than a couple of months. So, you know, we're really in a position now where we can move this forward out of the pandemic and into something positive, but we can only do that if we all support each other. And I think we've shown some great solidarity throughout the pandemic. So let's not stop now. Let's deal with overwhelm together. Let's reduce the impact that the pandemic has had on everybody's mental health by collectively communicating when we're feeling overwhelmed and supporting each other through what has been an incredibly difficult time and will probably be another couple of difficult months. How do you deal with overwhelm? Drop me some comments below. I'd love to hear how you guys deal with overwhelm. Everybody's different. Some people get overwhelmed by the smallest thing, the largest thing, and it's all relative to that individual's experiences. So I'd love to hear what you think about dealing with overwhelm. What kind of things are you overwhelmed about at the moment? Drop me a comment below, and please like, subscribe and share to these videos. I'll be dropping a new video every single week for you guys. If you've got any suggestions, please hit me up and I would love to hear from you. Thank you and see you next week.